Your subconscious mind's most powerful feature is actually making your day much harder. Because our subconscious mind evolved in a way with one primary function, and that function was to keep us safe. But in the way it keeps us safe, it sometimes keeps us stuck. It's much like one of those child-proof pill bottles that make it really, really difficult for the child to get into, but because they make it really, really difficult to get into, they make it difficult for you to get into. So it's serving its functionality of keeping us safe, but it also creates an obstacle. So today, as we continue our series on healing and transformational fundamentals, we're going to look at this one aspect of the subconscious mind, why it acts the way it does, and what you can do every single day so you're not stuck in this particular trap. This is Monterastelli, and welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast, recorded live to tape from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 578, originally aired September 27th, 2023. Hi, everyone. I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time of day you're getting a chance to join me. Thanks for spending a little time with me today. Today, we are continuing our healing and transformational fundamentals series where we're looking at those small things that underpin every single piece of transformation. And today, we're going to spend some time with my favorite topic to talk about, which is the subconscious mind. Because when it comes to healing and transformation, the subconscious mind is the key. And so we're going to talk about the aspect of the all or nothing nature of the subconscious mind, why that's a benefit, why it's a struggle, and how you can tap to prevent that from keeping you stuck as you navigate your day. As we navigate our way through this series, the most powerful way that we have to change our subconscious mind is a little tool called tapping. I use it every single day myself. I tap with my clients regularly. If you are new to tapping, all you need to do is follow that little red arrow in the upper right-hand corner, click on the link that says Learn to Tap, and it will take you to a very simple, direct instruction so that as you understand the subconscious mind, you're now going to have tools that are going to make it easier for you to create that transformation. As we continue our conversation about these healing fundamentals, again and again, we keep coming back to the subconscious mind because the reality is most of our responses in the moment that are emotional, that are instinctual, are coming from the subconscious mind. And so often we're in a circumstance after the fact, it's like, wow, I can't believe I did that. If I would have been thinking clearly, I would have done A, B, or C instead. And this is because since the subconscious mind is built to keep us safe, and being safe ensures that we procreate, and being safe that we procreate ensures that our species goes on, it becomes really, really important to notice the danger around us. But because noticing the danger around us is the first thing that happens, whatever the subconscious mind sees or perceives is the place we're initially going to respond from. And like I talked about at the top, that's actually a really good thing, keeping us safe. When I'm standing in the middle of the street and I'm about to be hit by a car, I'm not looking at the car and going, ooh, 67 Mustangs. I love late 60s Mustangs. Instead, what we're doing is we're getting out of the way. And so in that circumstance, that fear response is awesome. Except for the fact that when we have that particular fear response and it's not the most useful, then we get ourselves in trouble. Because what's going to happen is we are going to stay stuck in the sense of fear. We've talked about it a lot in this series, how the subconscious mind will choose the predictably bad over the unpredictable. Because even though it's predictably bad, it's knowable, where things that are unpredictable are significantly more dangerous to us. So it pushes us into a place where we're always going to hear fear, whether or not that is a well-informed, proportionate emotional response. And so the reason why we are responding from the subconscious mind is to save energy. Because the subconscious mind is just responding. It is not thinking, it's not processing. And thinking and processing takes a huge amount of energy. You know, the 7 or 8 pounds that are between your ears on any given day can use 25 to 30% of the energy as you navigate your day. Thinking is hard. Think about a time that you've gone to a class where you're doing something really new and powerful and you really have to engage in it. And at the end of the class, you feel like you've run a marathon because you spent so much energy thinking. And so what the subconscious mind does by having a split-second decision, it actually saves us energy. So this is what it looks like kind of step by step. Number one, the subconscious mind wants to keep us safe at all times. Number two, it takes a huge amount of energy to do a lot of thinking in the moment, which means later in the day, if something dangerous comes up, I don't have the energy to respond to it. So if thinking takes energy, then if everything comes from the subconscious mind, I don't have to think. Therefore, I save energy. Therefore, when danger comes in the future, I have energy to deal with that. And for a lot of things, just having a split-second black or white decision is a good thing. But there are very few things in our life that are all good or all bad. And so when we put them into these black and white decisions of it is good or it is dangerous, then we miss a great deal of nuance in our lives. I personally think, and this is just my own thought, I have no proof to this, that the reason why we live in such galvanizing times about the way we approach life and what we think and what we believe is because our lives are so full and so stressed, we don't have the time and energy to have a nuanced conversation or a nuanced thought process about what is in front of us. And so it's so much easier when we are confronted by something to go, it is good or it is bad. And because of that, this huge amount of nuance gets washed out of our lives, which makes a number of things significantly harder. And so what happens on a personal level, not as we navigate through the world about our world beliefs, but just on a personal level, when things get flattened out into an all or nothing proposition, then we're doing a really simplified version of processing our experience, which means that we're going to miss a lot of really amazing nuance in our life. Because something might be good to a degree and add richness, but since it's not all good or it's some bad, the subconscious mind goes, nope, I don't want to do that particular thing. And so if we are in a situation where we can bring that nuance back into what is going on, then it is possible for us to have a richer life, a fuller life, to make more authentic choices. Because so often, the things that you want to do to create a life that you love are things that stretch you, are things that are outside of your comfort zone, are things that are outside of the cultural comfort zone of the people around you. And so if there's a part of you that's afraid, I'm going to do this and I'm not going to be accepted, I'm going to do this and I'm not going to be judged, subconscious mind kicks in, I'm going to be judged, I'm going to be kicked out of the tribe, I am going to die. And I know that that sounds so hyperbolic, but at that very primitive part of the brain, that's exactly what is going on in these moments. And so we are missing the opportunity to do the things that we truly love because we are caught in this black and white, all or nothing proposition that is coming from the subconscious mind. Now, if you think back to what I was saying at the beginning, the subconscious mind is doing this to keep us safe. That is true, but you and I are not in a circumstance, really most of us are not in a circumstance where later this afternoon, we're going to bump into some giant fuzzy creature with big claws and big teeth that we need the energy to run away from. Yes, there might be danger later in the day, but the subconscious mind was built to respond to a different type of danger. It was built to respond to the danger to our physical health, where it's now responding to our emotional health, the way that we fit in. And it's good that we're thoughtful and deliberate and we're safe in those areas, but doing it in an all or nothing proposition actually harms our ability to make good, thoughtful choices. I'm guessing there's something in your life that you want to do that is going to stretch you, that's going to stretch the box that everybody else has put you in, that you're certain will make your life better if you do that. And your subconscious mind, in the name of keeping you safe, is keeping you stuck because it says there's the possibility of something could go wrong, therefore things are always going to go wrong, therefore I am going to avoid it. So there's two ways that I like to approach this all or nothing proposition as we bump into it, as we are navigating our day. Way number one is to actually make the statement in an absolute. So we get to hear the implied always or never. So for example, putting myself out there is always going to go badly. Putting myself out there is always going to get me judged. Putting myself out there is always going to get me shunned by my family. Now, you could be in a circumstance where you are going to be judged. You are going to face pushback. You're going to face all of those sorts of things as you navigate this. But the moment you stick the word always in it, your system goes, okay, that's not actually true. And just by adding the word always or adding the word never, this is never going to be safe for me to do. All of a sudden, your subconscious mind, which has put up this all or nothing thing, is starting to go, well, no, that's not actually the case. It's possible that this could work out. It's possible that that could work out. And you'll notice that as that information is coming forward, it doesn't mean that we're immediately disregarding danger, and it doesn't mean that we're being reckless or careless. But instead, what it does is it gives us the opportunity to start to process with a little nuance. So when you are feeling stuck in the moment, if you have the wherewithal, ask yourself the question, what could go wrong if I did this? Then insert into the statement always. It is always going to go wrong because, and you'll immediately feel your disposition and your energy change around that. The second thing is I like to set up my day when I know I'm going to be facing difficult decisions like this with just a little tapping where I'm naming how and why the subconscious mind works. And by naming it ahead of time, when I'm in those circumstances, I'm much more likely to use tool number 1, which we just talked about. And so the tapping looks something like this. I'd encourage you to tap along with me if that is something for you that is safe in this moment. I recognize the fact my subconscious mind wants to keep me safe. My subconscious mind wants to keep me healthy. And in an attempt to save energy, in case danger comes at some point in the future, my subconscious mind flattens everything into an all or nothing proposition. And I give myself permission to know it isn't actually an all or nothing proposition. And it is safe for me to spend some time thinking about the nuance of my experience, thinking about what is in front of me. And if I give myself space to think this through, not only am I going to stay safe, but I'm going to make better choices. I'm not going to become reckless or careless or thoughtless. Instead, by thinking in this way, I am being more thoughtful and more careful. I appreciate my subconscious mind trying to keep me safe, and I recognize the fact it doesn't have to overfunction at every moment. And as I experience nuance, I can create a more authentic life. And so just tapping through that, all of a sudden, I can just feel the world be a little lighter around me. I'm not fighting through something that is so stiff because I'm able to notice nuance. And more importantly, I'm able to recognize the fact that I can respond to and handle nuance. So that is part 14 of our guide on healing and transformational fundamentals. If this is the first video that you are watching on the screen right now, you will see a link to the entire series. We're going to have 20 of them in total. And depending on when you're watching this, the entire series might be done. Click on that and enjoy the training. For Tapping Q&A, it's Monterastelli. I hope you have a great day.